Once, in a quiet little village cradled between towering mountains and wide green meadows, there lived a boy named Thomas. Everyone knew him for his bright, lively eyes and laughter that seemed to catch on like sunshine. But behind that cheerful face, Thomas carried the heavy weight of problems that clouded his days. He lived in a small, weathered cottage with his parents. Life was far from easy. His father, Mr. Thompson, worked long, exhausting hours as a carpenter, barely earning enough to keep the family afloat. His mother, Mrs. Thompson, stitched clothes for neighbors as a seamstress, but her earnings could only stretch so far. Every morning, Thomas woke to the sound of his parents speaking in hushed tones, their voices laced with worry about unpaid bills, dwindling food supplies, and an uncertain future. At school, Thomas's heart often ached for Peter, a classmate with thick glasses, and a limp who was an easy target for bullies. One afternoon, Thomas saw Peter's shoulders droop in defeat after another round of taunts. Determined to make a difference, Thomas stepped in. He told the bullies to leave Peter alone and offered to walk to school with him every day. Peter, touched by the kindness, smiled through his tears and accepted. As they walked together each morning, Peter opened up about his own struggles, how he couldn't see the blackboard clearly, how other kids mocked him, and how lonely it felt. Thomas listened closely, realizing that everyone had battles hidden beneath the surface. Thomas, too, had his own. Though a diligent student, it was hard to concentrate in class when his thoughts were tangled in worries about home. Math, in particular, frustrated him. No matter how hard he tried, the numbers never seemed to fall into place. One afternoon, he stayed after school to ask his teacher, Miss Adams, for help. He admitted his fears about falling behind. Miss Adams smiled warmly and reassured him that asking for help was a sign of strength. Together, they worked through each problem step by step. Encouraged, Thomas began staying after school regularly. With her guidance and his determination, he slowly improved, and with improvement came confidence. Still, the shadows at home grew longer. His family's financial troubles deepened. His parents worked themselves to exhaustion, yet it never seemed to be enough. One evening, Thomas overheard them speaking quietly about overdue rent, mounting debts, and the very real risk of eviction. Tears welled in his eyes as he realized the depth of their struggle. He felt powerless, too young to solve the problems they faced, yet his resolve only hardened. He started taking on odd jobs around the village, mowing lawns, washing dishes, delivering packages for neighbors. Every coin he earned went toward helping his parents, though it was never quite enough. Then, one crisp autumn afternoon, on his way home from school, Thomas noticed a flyer pinned to a post, a local talent show. The grand prize was a sum of money large, enough to pay off his family's debts and keep them safe in their home. He ran all the way home to tell his parents. At first, they hesitated. They worried about the disappointment if he didn't win, and couldn't bear to see him crushed. But Thomas assured them he had a plan and wouldn't give up without giving it his best. From that day, every spare moment was spent practicing his guitar. He honed each chord, perfected every note, and poured his heart into preparing for the performance. When the night of the show arrived, the village hall glowed with lamplight and buzzed with excitement. Backstage, Thomas's hands trembled. He took a deep breath, stepped out under the warm glow of the stage lights, and strummed the opening notes. His voice carried through the room raw with emotion, filled with hope and determination. When the last note faded, the hall was silent for a heartbeat, then thundered with applause. Some wiped away tears. Thomas blushed, pride glowing in his chest. In the end, he didn't win the grand prize, but he won something far more powerful, the admiration and support of the entire community. Moved by his courage and resilience, the villagers came together to raise the money his family needed. They made sure the Thompsons had a roof over their heads and food on the table. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Thomas hugged his parents tightly, tears of joy streaming down his face. In that moment, he realized something: life-changing love, determination, and the support of those who care can carry you through even the hardest storms. In the months that followed, new challenges came, but they faced them together, stronger than before. And Thomas knew whatever obstacles life placed in his path, he would always find a way to rise above them. With a song in his heart and a smile on his face,